It was a 41-31 final with the Ravens taking down the Buccaneers, but frankly, it wasn't all that close. After quartering 10 early points, it was 34 unanswered by the Bad Birds, including this deep shot to Rashad Bateman. Joe Musso in studio alongside our NFL analysts, Douzable and Emory Hunt. Gentlemen, this was exciting football up and down, but plenty to sink our teeth into. I think the only starting place is that man. 5 touchdown performance for the reigning and maybe 3-time after this season MVP in Lamar Jackson. Simply spectacular what he did in this game, Deuce. Just a skosh off of a perfect passer rating. How does he continue to move the bar further from our expectations already that lofty?
Just Lamar's progression in the passing game makes them almost unstoppable. Moose, we were talking about it. The Bucs got after him in that first quarter, right? Different looks. Todd Bowles is known to bring pressure. And Lamar Jackson probably is the only person on the planet that could have escaped some of that pressure. Like, there was times literally there were 4 guys in his face, and he would make all 4 guys miss and pick up a first down with his legs. But you talked about what he did through the air. That was what was so impressive in this game, right? Throwing 5 touchdown passes. We talked about Mark Andrews in the pregame show, right? He found him in the red zone twice. Even got King Henry involved in the passing game, which is very rare, right? Because Derrick Henry usually comes off the field on passing downs. Lamar was just in his bag. He knew exactly where to go with the football. Talked about him evading pressure. Look at that. That's a corner coming off the edge. Yeah, I'm a better athlete than you. I'm going to make you miss. And then the Rashad Bateman showing up big after Zay Flowers got banged up. Even though Flowers stayed in the game, Bateman has been big these last couple of weeks and will be a key cog going forward for them to make a run in the playoffs. But you have to love what Lamar has been doing. Like you said, Moose, he's on that trajectory to be a 3-time MVP.
I mean, we look at the graphic that he just put up. It took him 84 games to throw multiple 5 touchdown games. 5 touchdown games in 84 games. Everyone else on that list, 200, 300 games. That's just insane. And what I love about what we saw tonight was that Lamar didn't get rattled. He didn't get into his own head when things didn't go well early on. He kind of settled down, stayed the course. And it was the passing game in the first half that allowed them to build that big lead because they know they have a big A train in the backfield that they can close out games now. So that's what stood out to me the most, that this guy passed their way to a lead and they ran their way to victory.
A little bit of quick math, that's 6% of his starts, and with a 5-touchdown performance, Tom Brady at the top of that list, it was around 2% of his starts were 5-touchdown performances. Now, body of work continues to grow, and the goal is still eluding him. He's got the MVPs. He said it preseason. We don't want that.
Oh, no.
I got my eyes on one of those sticky Lombardis, as our friend Bryant McFadden likes to say. Deuce, how do you go about game planning for this 2-headed monster in the rushing attack and all the compliments in the pass game? Where do you start to nitpick at the Ravens if you can?
Well, you always want to slow down the run, but the Bucs actually did that in the first half. Moose, we talked about how balanced this team is. To me, they're the most balanced offense in all of football. I mean, just look at the box score. 264 yards passing, 244 yards running.
Come on.
And you see it right there. Derrick Henry closes out games. I kept saying, this game kind of feels like maybe that Cincinnati game where it could be a shootout, but then you have that guy right there that can close out games. That is the difference for this team. So you do have to stop the run. But honestly, Moose, when you're talking about game planning for Lamar, I thought Todd Bowles did a masterful job, right? You either rush 3, drop 8. Lamar's gotten better at passing the ball, so you can't really do that. You got to send pressure to him, and you got to take right pass rush lane responsibility angles. But even then, he can still make you miss, Moose. So, like, that's the issue when you game plan for Lamar. I love what Todd Bowles did. Send the pressure. Send some of your defensive backs that are better athletes, but sometimes he out-athletics those guys as well. Send pressure, make him make a quick decision. But even that, and sometimes Lamar can still beat you doing that as well.
Emory, that is a problem for tomorrow and for someone else. But for what we saw over this 60 minutes, we saw 34 unanswered points in the midst of this dominant performance by the Ravens. Was there an adjustment you saw after that 10-0 start that led to this? Or was it just sort of you take a jab, you feel out your opponent, and then we are the Ravens?
Right, because you see what they were trying to do at first. And I think this is the game plan. A lot of defensive players come in, or defensive coaches come in and say, hey, we're going to force them to play outside in. We're going to take away the tight ends, we're going to take away the run game, and force them to go outside. Well, where Lamar has adjusted his game, he now trusts, number one, his outside receivers, and he also trusts himself to check it down and just hit the running backs in the flat.
Right.
So you could take away those tight ends. We're going to just pepper you with these flat targets. Then we're going to go deep down the field. And then afterwards, with the, when you shift covers that way, now we can attack you with all the tight ends we have on the depth chart. We've seen Charlie Kohler have a game against Cincinnati. We saw these two tight ends likely, and these other cats, Andrews, have success today. So he's now expanded the passing game. He's able to hit the checkdowns, and he's able to attack deeper down the field. This is one of the more dangerous offenses in the NFL.
I can't help but think of the reference point of the Kansas City Chiefs, because that is the gatekeeper currently that they're trying to get by, and it's almost a role reversal. No disrespect to the Baltimore defense right now, but it's the KC defense and now this Ravens offense. Collision course, we shall see. On the other side of this one, Tampa Bay loses the game and appeared to lose a pair of stars. It's never good when the aircast comes out. We won't say season ending, but it appeared to be a significant lower leg injury with seconds left on the clock for Chris Godwin. Earlier in this game, we saw Mike Evans leave with a hamstring injury. Deuce, how do you move forward if you don't have those two pieces? I mean, those are the tent posts to this offense.
Literally, Chris Godwin was on a ridiculous trajectory this year. Mike Evans, you stated this, Moose, he wasn't on a trajectory to go over 1,000 yards, but he's a guy that can break away for 150, 200 yards in a game, right? It looks like he was on that trajectory tonight, had a big touchdown catch, had this potential big touchdown catch, dropped it. Hamstring injury flares up on him, and you talked about the injury to Chris Godwin. Just sick to see that at the end of the game. We talk about moving forward, right? Guys like Jalen McMillan are going to have to step up. Sterling Shepard are going to have to step up, but they're going to have to continue to lean on that run game. We were pleasantly surprised, Moose, in the first half. They were able to run the ball effectively against the #1 rush defense in all of football. Now, the game got away from them, so they had to get away from the run, but going forward, you can't have Baker Mayfield throwing it 45, 50 times a game if you want to win games. Like, I love the game plan in the first half. They really ran the ball really well. Baker Mayfield knew where to go with the football. Some inexcusable throws in the second quarter that kind of flipped the game to the Ravens side, but lean on that run game. You have a three-headed monster, and you have a really good offensive line. Lean on that run game. When you have opportunities, take your shots down the field.
You talk about opportunities. That's where they didn't take advantage, in my opinion, because it's a tale as old as football has been around. Turnovers and also penalties. They beat themselves tonight in the first half, and that gave Baltimore the amount of cushion necessary to pull away and extend the lead. Drop passes, drop touchdown, then you come back and throw the interception in the end zone. Those things add up over time, and when you look at a team that, to your point, ran the ball rather well, had Baltimore off balance, but they beat themselves by penalties and turning the ball over. And when it got too far out of hand, now you're pressing, now you become one-dimensional, and then things start to snowball downhill, and that's what ultimately doomed Tampa today.
You saw the numbers there. The wide receivers accounting for 76 receptions, north of 900 yards, and 11 total touchdowns. We'll see what it is for Mike, and we think what we know it is for Chris Godwin. It's time now for your Talk About It game-changing performance of the night, presented by Old El Paso. Lige Douzable. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. I mean, is there much to talk about it?
Go ahead.
Lamar Jackson, 5 touchdown passes, efficient with the football. Would have had a rushing touchdown if not for a holding penalty as well. We talk about his growth and progression as a passer. It almost makes this Ravens offense unstoppable, right? Because once you think that you could stop the run game with Derrick Henry, which they did in the first half, well, here's Bateman over the top. Here's Zay Flowers on a screenplay. Oh, don't forget about Mark Andrews. He's coming back from an injury. He's getting healthier and healthier. And they really haven't even put Isaiah Likely in the game. So, like, wait till they do that as well. Love what I saw from Lamar Jackson. He commanded this offense up and down the field. He was able to get out of some trouble when guys were unblocked in his face. That's just what he does. MVP-like player, Lamar Jackson is your, player of the game?
Talk about it.
Talk about it.
You got
player
it.
of the game.
Well, a football game, we watch 60 minutes of football, right? But it really only comes down to 3 plays. 2 of those plays were made by Marlon Humphrey. 2 interceptions. The first one in the end zone, which stopped the Bucs drive. They kind of got Baltimore back to neutral. And then the second one halted another drive that sort of gave them the blueprint to make it a big time lead. And we saw the third play be that Bateman long touchdown where it's like, oh, we about to blow these dudes out. So Marlon Humphrey with those 2 interceptions, and 9 times out of 10, when we're talking about Humphrey, we're not talking about him catching interceptions, but he's been a dog this year. The big play he made against Cincinnati, the huge plays he made tonight against Tampa Bay, I thought he was the one we should be talking about today.
That's a Talk About It game ball for Marlon Humphrey and for Mr. Action Jackson. Gentlemen, thank you.